All right, here we are, week 2 assignments. Let me go ahead and start a new class here so I can write some tutorial here. So I'm going to just call week 2 test something, just so I can use the same program for all examples for this week. All right, finish. So I created my main method and here's my header. So let me go ahead and minimize some things here so I have more space. All right. So there was a question in a forum saying how will Java, the compiler, will handle numbers such as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, right? That's for the palindrome program. As you can see, this is a palindrome. Those are palindrome numbers. But how are we going to handle this? So let's run some code here, some test. I'm going to type the code, and then I'm going to show you the code line by line. Okay, so let's do this. Okay, here's the code I wrote. I wrote a method called getNumber, and I'm passing a message called enter a number. And the reason I did this is that I can use this method on all my programs from now on. All this method does, I'll walk you through this. All this method does is pass a message called enter number and declare some local variables and go through a loop that will allow the user to enter a number until it's a valid number. Meaning, if you ask for a number and the user enter like F, or a letter, and it's gonna crash, so we need to surround this through a try-catch block. So let's go through this method, okay? Here we have the loop, while is valid, while not is valid, meaning while is not true, right? Not false, because is valid is false. So I'm saying while not false, right? While we can loop through this, okay? Get the number, display the message, whatever the custom message you were passing to this method, and then we're going to verify that if the num string entered is not equal to null, meaning the user didn't just press cancel, press OK, and it's null. We're going to go ahead and parse that number, that input, into an integer, and then we're going to go ahead and say, hey, we do have a valid number. Let's set that is valid flag to true, and let's break out of this loop, and we're done. Okay, when we break out of the loop, we're going to just return whatever that number is. All right, so basically this is just validating. It's a method, it's a generic method for validating your input to make sure it's a valid input, a valid integer input. In the future, you could change this to double, and return a double, and then do a double parse double and return a double if you want, if you need. So if the num string is equal to null, we're going to display a message and saying no action was canceled. Let's just set invalid is valid to true here too, and just go back here, and we are out of this, and we're just going to not return anything basically because it's invalid, so we're not going to have a number. All right. And the catch here is, of course, if it's not a valid numeric value, it's going to just say valid number, enter, try again. And this catch exception here is going to only happens if you enter a non-numeric value. So the question reason in the forum was that, what if you enter 000 or 01, 010? How is this going to handle? All right, so as of right now, let's see what happens when we display this, when we run this code. So I'm going to enter 00000, and I say okay. It displays a 0. The reason is because 5 zeros, it's just a single 0 as an integer. Now let's test as a num string here. What if I want it to be a string? I want to display the actual string 0000. I want to check if it is that. Well, I need to come in here. I already have a testing area here. Let me put it here. I was playing with it. So what if we want to say, is that num string a 5 characters? Now remember, string is an array of characters. Is that string a 5-character 0. It has 5 zeros. If it is, let's display that. Let's see what we get. Okay, so let me save this and let's run. So I'm going to enter 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We expect that this is a string of 5 characters 0 and we wanted to display it and say okay. Oops, it didn't display. What is the problem here? The problem is that when you're dealing with strings, you do not use double equal. Okay? You do not use the double equal. What you need to use is the method from the string class called equals. Okay? Well, why is it not going through? All right? That's what you want right here. You want to use the equals method. All right? And that's what you want to do. To be able to validate this, make sure it's a 5-digit, a 5-character string. So let's go ahead and here and run again and display 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. Okay, now look at what we got. Number string is a string now. See, we are displaying a string. As an integer, it's just going to be a plain 0. Okay, let's do this one here, 0, 1, 0, 1. Let's do this here. All right, let's save and let's run again. What we want to enter is 0, 1, 0, 1, 0. Say okay. It displays, but as an integer, we don't have that leading 0. All right. So what I recommend here for the palindrome program, eliminate that 0 here. Don't worry about entering this type of number because as an integer, you're not going to have a 5-digit number. Okay? As an integer. As a string, yes. But the assignment asks for what? Integer input, right? So think about this, how you're going to handle this, validating if it's a 5-digit. Do you want to check if it's a 5-digit at this level or at this level? Again, it needs to be at this level, okay, at the string level, at the integer level, I'm sorry.